Oh, hello guys, today I'll be doing Scarecrow Walks at Midnight by each chapter. Yeah, and you should go really see my Fortnite videos. I only have one, but I'm gonna make more people, okay? Okay? Let's just get into this. Okay, I'm tired of this. I'm tired of this. Okay, let's just do this.
Hello, I'm R.L. Stein. Our classic Goosebumps story is called The Scarecrow Walks at Midnight.
It's not even classic.
Jody loves visiting her grandparents' farm. Okay, so it's not the most exciting place in the world. Still, Grandpa tells great scary stories, and Grandma's chocolate chip pancakes are the best. But this summer, the farm has really changed. The cornfields are sparse. Grandma and Grandpa seem worn out, and the single scarecrow has been replaced by 12 evil-looking ones. Then one night, Jody sees something really odd. The scarecrows seem to be moving.
Yes, please
twitching
move.
on their stakes, coming alive.
Ha ha ha.
Listener beware, you're in for a scare.
I don't care if I'm in for a scare. It's not even scary.
Scholastic Audio presents The Scarecrow Walks at Midnight.
Scholastic does not make scary things. This only scares 3-year-olds.
Read by
Like
Lexi
my
Friedel.
brother.
Chapter 1. Hey, Jody! Wait up! I turned and squinted into the bright sunlight. My brother, Mark, was still on the concrete train platform. The train had clattered off. I could see it snaking its way through the low green meadows in the distance. I turned to Stanley. Stanley is the hired man on my grandparents' farm. He stood beside me, carrying both suitcases. Look in the dictionary for the word slowpoke, I said, and you'll see Mark's picture. Stanley smiled at me. I like the dictionary, Jody, he said. Sometimes I read it for hours. Hey, Mark! Get a move on! I cried. But he was taking his good time, walking slowly, in a daze, as usual. I tossed my blonde hair behind my shoulders and turned back to Stanley. Mark and I hadn't visited the farm for a year, but Stanley still looked the same. He's so skinny, like a noodle, my grandma always says. His denim overalls always look 5 sizes too big on him.
He's more.
Stanley is about 40 or 45, I think. He wears his dark hair in a crew cut, shaved close to his head. His ears are huge. They stick way out and are always bright red. And he has big round brown eyes that remind me of puppy eyes. Stanley isn't very smart. Grandpa Kurt always says that Stanley isn't working with a full 100 watts. But Mark and I really like him.
Stanley is.
He has a quiet sense of humor.
I forgot who Stanley was. Comment down below who Stanley was again.
And he is kind and gentle and friendly and always has lots of amazing things to show us whenever we visit the farm. You look nice, Jody, Stanley said, his cheeks turning as red as his ears. How old are you now? 12, I told him, and Mark is 11. He thought about it. That makes 23, he joked. We both laughed. You never know what Stanley is going to say. I think I stepped in something gross.
So they're 23 years old. If you combine them together, they're 23 years old. Wow, they would be a tall, adult mutant.
Mark complained, catching up to us. I always know what Mark is going to say. My brother only knows 3 words: cool, weird, and gross. Really, that's his whole vocabulary. As a joke, I gave him a dictionary for his last birthday. You're weird, Mark said when I handed it to him. What a gross gift. He scraped his white high tops on the ground as we followed Stanley to the beat-up red pickup truck. Carry my backpack for me, Mark said, trying to shove the bulging backpack at me. No way, I told him. Carry it yourself. The backpack contained his iPod, comic books, his Game Boy, and it...
Wait, what? Why did they say his iPod? What's an iPod? What the... Okay, that was just weird.
At least 50 game cartridges. I knew he planned to spend the whole month lying in the hammock on the screened-in back porch of the farmhouse, listening to music and playing video games. Well, no way. Mom and Dad said it was my job to make sure Mark got outside and enjoyed the farm. We were so cooped up in the city all year. That's why they sent us to visit Grandpa Kurt and Grandma Miriam for a month each summer, to enjoy the great outdoors. We stopped beside the truck while Stanley searched his overall pockets for the key. It's going to get pretty hot today, Stanley said, unless it cools down. A typical Stanley weather report. I gazed out at the wide, grassy field beyond the small train station parking lot. Thousands of tiny white puffballs floated up against...
Wait, what? 1,000? You know what? And never mind.
The clear blue sky. It was so beautiful. Naturally, I sneezed. I love visiting my grandparents' farm. My only problem is I'm allergic to just about everything on it. So Mom
Wait, if you're allergic to about everything almost on it, then why would you even go to the farm? That's so weird. That's... I feel like my vocabulary is now cool, weird, and gross. Yeah, anyways, we'll just continue.
Several bottles of my allergy medicine for me, and lots of tissues. Gesundheit, Stanley said. He tossed our 2 suitcases in the back of the pickup. Mark slid his backpack in, too. Can I ride in back? He asked. He loves to lie flat in the back, staring up at the sky and bumping up and down really hard. Stanley is a terrible driver. He can't seem to concentrate on steering.
If Stanley is a terrible driver, then why would you even get in with him? He can get a car accident. So why would you even get in with him? That's weird.
And driving at the right speed at the same time. So there are always lots of quick turns and heavy bumps. Mark lifted himself into the back of the pickup and stretched out next to the suitcases. I climbed in front beside Stanley. A short while later, we were bouncing along the narrow, twisting road that led to the farm. I stared out the dusty window at the passing meadows and farmhouses. Everything looked so green and alive. Stanley drove with both hands wrapped tightly around the top of the steering wheel. He sat forward stiffly, leaning over the wheel, staring straight ahead through the windshield without blinking. Mr. Mortimer doesn't farm his place anymore, he said, lifting one hand from the wheel to point to a big white farmhouse on top of a sloping green hill. Why not? I asked. Because he died, Stanley replied solemnly. See what I mean? You never know what Stanley is going to say. We bounced over a deep rut in the road. I was sure Mark was having a great time in back. The road leads through the small town, so small that it doesn't even have a name. The farmers have always called it town. It has a feed store, a combination gas station and grocery store, a white steepled church, a hardware store, and a mailbox. There were 2 trucks parked in front of the feed store. I didn't see anyone as we barreled past. My grandparents' farm is about 2 miles from town. I recognized the cornfields as we approached. "The corn is so high already," I exclaimed, staring through the bouncing window. "Have you eaten any yet?" "Just at dinner," Stanley replied. Suddenly, he slowed the truck and turned his eyes to me. "The Scarecrow walks at midnight," he uttered in a low voice. "Huh?" I wasn't sure I'd heard correctly.
Hey, what? Okay, well, that was weird. No. Okay, we're back.
"Scarecrow walks at midnight," he repeated, training his big puppy eyes on me. "I read it in the book." I didn't know what to say, so I laughed. I thought maybe he was making a joke. Days later, I realized it was no joke. Chapter 2.
Okay. Anyways, people, I will do chapter 2 today, even though it's 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm gonna do chapter 2. I'm gonna start doing goosebump videos at night, late at night, because they're not scary. So yeah. Anyways, see you later, alligator.